Hello my dears, it's Katie and I'm here today to do a tag video. I know it's been a long time since I've done a tag, but today I am doing the Lucy Worsley book tag. It was tagged by Kara from Wild Book Garden and she's also the creator of this tag. I'm really excited about it. I love the questions and let's just get into it. Number 1. Lucy Worsley's shows are known for being equal parts fun and informative. What's a nonfiction book that taught you a lot, was also very engaging or fun to read? So for this, I'm going to pick Just Mercy by Brian Stevenson. It's kind of my go-to nonfiction book that was really informative and engaging. I wouldn't call it fun necessarily, but it was very, very informative and engaging. I read it right before I went to law school. It was required reading before my first year, and I learned a lot about the criminal justice system and just the justice system, I guess, in the United States, particularly about death row. And it really opened my eyes to another side that I hadn't really considered before, and I highly, highly recommend that you all read it if you haven't already. Number 2, the shows always include a few segments where Lucy acts in costume as some of the historical or literary figures, a queen, a servant, a character in the novel, etc. Share one of your favorite plays or a book featuring theater in some way. So I had a couple of different avenues I could have gone for with this. I could have talked about one of my favorite plays, which is Julius Caesar, if you don't know. Or I could talk about a book that features theater. And so I'm kind of trying to cater this tag to things that I've recently read. So I'm going to end up talking about An Assassin's Guide to Love and Treason by Virginia Becker. Guys, you should read this book. It's so good. It's a Twelfth Night retelling, but it takes place in the time period when Twelfth Night was being written, and it features Shakespeare and it features the actual preparation and performance of the play, and it's A+. It's so good, and I seriously can't recommend it enough. I'm surprised it's not more popular than it is. Like, it needs to be more popular, and I really want you all to read it. Number 3, it's hard to deny Lucy Worsley's passion for what she does. She's clearly doing her dream job, and her enthusiasm is irresistible. Pick 2 books with a character who is passionate about something like a hobby or area of study. One interest you share and one you don't, but the book was able to make you understand why the character loves it so much. So first, just to get it out of the way, the book that I'm picking for a character who likes something that I don't, but made me enjoy it a little bit through them, that sounded strange, is Ollie from Small Spaces by Catherine Arden. She's very into math. She loves math, it's her favorite subject, and that is an element that is actually quite present throughout the book. And I really enjoyed that aspect to the book, like more than I thought I was going to, because as I said, math is not my thing. It's never been my thing. Do I find it interesting sometimes? Yes. Do I seek out books that have math in it? Not really, because it would go right over my head. But I loved the way that it was used in the book, and it made me fall in love with Ollie's character even more than I already did from the beginning. So yeah, love math in that book and love Ollie more because of it, and it gave me a deeper understanding of her character. Now for the book that has the characters that have similar interests to me that I also enjoy, and that is Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. Alex is political junkie, me. He also goes to law school at some point in this, me. I'm also Henry in every possible way. Like, all of his interests are something that I do still. Horseback riding, done. Sailing, done. Like, I am these characters in more ways than one. Personality-wise, interests, all of it. And it's part of the reason why I love this book so much, because I just see so much of myself in this book. So, cheers. Number 4. Lucy Worsley's commentary always skillfully balances history and conscience. She keeps true to the original material while also providing necessary context and humanity. What's an old book, however you define old, that surprised you with how modern and forward-thinking its ideas are? Now, this question was hard for me because I can think of several different definitions of old and several different books that are still relevant and a lot more modern than you think they are. But ultimately I decided to go with The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. This is the big version. I'm not holding it up for very long because it's very heavy. But this is a book that I've been rereading throughout this year. And I've been seeing things in it that I'm just like, wow, this is very ahead of its time with regards to things like climate change, for example. Tolkien's prose and just discussion and conversation about climate and forests in particular, and just how important they are, is very strong in this. Like, he was a nature lover, and it very much comes through in this, and that's something that we actively talk about today. So the fact that it was written about in a book that was published in like the 1950s, and that we, still haven't done much about it, is very, very interesting to me, and I kind of want to know what he would think with what we're currently seeing today. But not just that, there are a lot of other things in this that are things that we're still actively talking about and working on. And the fact that he, whether intentionally or not, wrote about it in a fantasy work that is still loved across the world today is very interesting to me. And so yeah, there's certain female characters in here. They're very feministic. There's, as I said, the climate discussions. Some people have talked about his exploration of race in his books, his conversation on war and power, greed, just all of it is encompassed in this. And yeah, it's just, all of that is something that we're still talking about today. And cheers. 5. A very British romance. Books with any kind of romantic element are often incorrectly dismissed as superficial. Share a book that had more depth than you expected. So I'm interpreting this question as a contemporary or romance novel that you read that had more depth. I don't know if that's quite what it was going for, but that's how I'm interpreting it. And so I'm going to talk about The Sea Ain't Mine Alone by C.L. Beaumont, which I read last year. And this is a kind of historical romance, but it's also a sports romance that takes place in the 1970s, and it primarily focuses on surfing. It also deals with heavier topics like PTSD and war and grief as well, because one of our main characters is a Vietnam War vet. He was injured and invalidated home. And our other main character has dealt a lot with grief and just kind of being out on his own because his family kind of cast him out because he was gay. And during that time, his family was religious and homophobia was a thing. 1970s, you guys know the history. So it deals with a lot of those heavier topics despite it being a romance at its core. And I absolutely loved that book. It's definitely not for everybody though, but I definitely really, really enjoyed it. Number 6, Six Wives with Lucy Worsley. Though you might have a favorite, each of these women given the sympathy she deserves. Share a book that had multiple main characters you loved. Ship of Destiny by Robin Hobb. Sorry guys, had to be in here. So this book has, I literally love all of the point of view characters that we followed in this. And this is very female centric, very feminist. I mean, the whole trilogy is, but the reason I picked this one is because there are some characters that I started out not liking at all and then loved by the end. So this is the last book in the trilogy. Yes, it's large. Don't at me. I love it so much. But yeah, they're all of the women and all of the point of view characters are incredible. We have Althea, who's just so driven to get back what she thinks has been taken from her. We have Malta, a very complicated character who ultimately grows into her own and is a very, very influential character. We have Kenneth, who's a bit cunning and manipulative, but has an interesting past and is very charismatic. We have Wintrow. His father treats him like garbage, and he's been through hell, and yet he's come out on the other side triumphant. We have Selden, who is a baby at the beginning of this, but at the end he ends up being such an important character. I mean, just the entire Vestrid family is incredible. But as I said, also Kenneth and some of the other characters that we encounter in this. I don't want to spoil much, but I love this series, this trilogy. Just this whole thing is everything to me. And it's very uncommon for me to love an ensemble cast as much as I have in this, like multiple POVs ensemble cast. So the fact that I did here is just, it just shows how much of an excellent, genius, brilliant writer Robin Hobb is. Number 7, Suffragettes with Lucy Worsley. Sources about the women's suffrage movement have often been limited in scope. Recommend a book that covers a famous era, event, etc. from a different perspective. So one book that I read late last year that I absolutely loved was called The Girl with the Red Balloon by Catherine Locke. And this is a book that takes place, it starts out in modern day, and then our main character gets transported back to East Berlin during the time of the Berlin Wall. So she's in East Berlin, and we don't really hear much about West Berlin, which is really refreshing because I feel like a lot of books from that time period focus on West Berlin, and they briefly touch on East Berlin, like, hey, things aren't so great over there, don't go over there, etc. But then it also cross-referenced things with another member of her family during the Holocaust, during World War II. So just getting all of that comparison and all of those timelines and parallels was really unique, and I really, really liked it a lot. So we got a perspective on a historical time period from someone who wasn't born during that time period, and just has like certain familial ties to it. So I thought it was just really, really, really well done, and I definitely really enjoyed it. And then finally, question 8, Lucy Worsley's Royal Myths and Secrets. Several of the episodes have centered on showing how famously ineffectual or silly women, such as Queen Anne or Marie Antoinette, were in fact much more intelligent and capable than history gives them credit for. Name one of your favorite competent female characters. So I have a lot of favorite competent female characters because it's just something that I love in books. But one I'm going to talk about today is Eleanor from Sense and Sensibility. I love her so much. I also relate to her in a lot of ways. Sense and Sensibility is one of my favorite Jane Austen novels. I read it earlier this year with the Austen Anonymous crew and did a live show for it too. And it was just so much fun. I had a really great time with it. But Eleanor is so competent, so smart, so lovely, and I love her so much. I feel like she doesn't get enough credit, or she's viewed in such a way that people find her to be kind of more unfeeling and just not the same as her sister. And I don't know, I find it very interesting, but I love her. I love how smart she is. I love how rational she is, but also has an emotional side to her as well. She's very driven, knows what she wants, and I just love her a lot. So those are all the questions, and I'm probably not going to tag anybody because a lot of the people that I would tag have already been tagged, and I just don't know who would be interested in this because it's very historical fiction, historical and classics focused. But if you're watching this and you're interested in it, go ahead and say I tagged you and go ahead and do it. I'd love to see what you guys come up with. But other than that, you all know the drill. I have my social media links down below in the description, and I hope you're all doing well amidst the chaos of this year. And I will catch you later in another video for you again soon. Bye!